Hey guys, this is going to be a quick video on the topic of free will. I've made plenty of videos in the past about free will, but this one is not going to be exactly on is free will possible or not like my previous videos were. And this one's going to focus a little bit more on a problem with Christianity and free will. Judaism actually does have a solution to this, but in Christianity, but since Christian theology works a little bit differently, this thing I'm going to bring up actually does pose a problem. Basically, free will must exist for God to be able to judge people on whether or not they sinned. Since if you don't have free will, a God that would punish beings without free will is evil, because if he did not give them the ability to choose right from wrong, then no matter what they choose, it's not them choosing it, therefore it's not their fault, and they should not receive any punishment. But here's where the problem is. It's not that God has a problem with messing with people's free will. The claim, if you would ask people, why isn't that God does not show any kind of evidence for his existence, they would answer, well, it would obviously infringe on your free will, because if you know that he exists, then for some reason you would not be as free to choose whether or not to obey God. Since if you know he exists and you see him in person, you lose the ability to choose to sin while knowing full well where you're going after you do so, and who you have to answer to. The thing is, God does, in fact, infringe upon people's free will, and Christians readily admit this. God introduced into this system Satan, and Satan is said to be an influence that tries to drive people away from obeying God. So here God himself introduced into the system a factor which actively messes with people's free will, because it's not exactly a free will to choose between sinning or not sinning, when there's a strong influence trying to convince you to sin, while God introduced no factor that would encourage you to not sin. Therefore, he's infringing upon your free will to choose not to sin, but he will not intervene and try to add another influence that would keep you away from sinning, because that would infringe upon your free will. So he does infringe upon your free will, but only to the bad side, which would send you to hell. But for the good side, he doesn't add any kind of angels that would influence to worship him, only Satan to encourage you not to worship him. So it's not as if God doesn't infringe upon your free will. It's just that God infringes upon your free will in a way that would make it the chances of you going to hell slightly bigger. I would like to actually know if any of you guys can respond to this, any of my Christian subscribers and friends. I'd like to know what you guys think about it. I mean, is it fair for God to create a negative influence while still maintaining that God doesn't give any proof for his existence, because he doesn't want to infringe upon free will? See you guys.